everybody, and welcome to episode 75 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's in the year 2007 with me?
2007, Stuart Hughes. I couldn't think of anything clever.
I didn't have nothing either.
Ooh, a 24-year-old Michael K. Hughes. I like the sound of that.
I was 14, so let me go back to my 2007 Xbox Live mindset real quick. Fuck you! It's Stuart Hughes. There you go.
I would have been 20, 21.
Cool, man. I'm old. That's fun.
Hey, you guys want to play Halo 3 with me?
Is that back when the 360 had the blades interface?
Yes.
Oh, man.
I just fucking mentioned an Overblood. I'm in the minority. I loved the blades setup.
I vaguely remember the blade setup.
I know everybody hated it, but I always was like super into it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I like anything that's color coded.
I think mainly the reason I liked it is because A, it was color coded, and 2, you could download the backgrounds for it. And when they got rid of the blades, they kept the backgrounds for some reason. And so you could have the backgrounds on like the new UI, but they would be like all distorted and like warped. It was like completely pointless to keep them on there.
I remember these now. It's been a long time. Oh, before we get too far into this, 2 things we should say. Not blades. One, unfortunately, Stefan is not here due to internet issues.
We tried. We couldn't get to work.
We almost got there, but so if you're listening, fuck you, apartment home. Fuck you for your internet. I'm pretty sure we know why it's not working, and it's your fault. Also, I mentioned months now, we were doing the giveaway. Well, nobody's entered yet. So if you want to win, it won't be hard, because after next week, I'm just shooting somebody random who listens to the show and comments on Facebook. So that's it. You have one last week to enter. All you got to do is make some social media post, tag us. Well, most likely take a screenshot, email the gamesmymomfound at yahoo.com, because then I will 100% see it, because I don't always see everything people take us in, just because of lots of social media things that I'm messing with. So yes, send it to an email to us, be entered. You win a copy of Stalker Shadow Chernobyl for Steam. Somebody enter, please.
What I found funny about that, which we just talked about before the recording, is that multiple people told me that they listened to the episode and they bought Stalker as a result. And I was like, why? You could have won a free copy. And they were like, no, I just decided to buy it. I was like, okay, but like we were giving away a free copy.
I mean, I already have the code. It's like I already bought the code and have the code for somebody. So somebody enter, please. I want to give it to somebody, or I'm just going to choose somebody random.
It could be you.
Literally, all you have to do, if you want a free copy of Stalker, just message us. We'll give you a free copy of Stalker. First person. You don't have to buy it.
It won't be the first person, because you got to wait a week. But you have a very good chance you enter now, because nobody else has entered. So
if you enter, you'll be the only one to enter.
I'm okay with that.
Copy. Somebody please take our free copy of Stalker.
And after that, next thing, I should introduce what we're going to be talking about. This is actually my idea. You guys have noticed we're doing 3 topic episodes for every season of the show that we do. And this is our final topic of this season and our 3rd topic. We're going to be talking about the year 2007 in gaming. Not because it's a great year and I knew what great games are. My son was born that year, so I'm like, we're going to pick that year.
Mike randomly picked, without realizing it, he picked the best year in gaming, arguably.
Yeah, which, like everything else in the show, nothing is ever done. Things are not done on purpose. They just happen. Like, who would ever thought our second best game on the show and our top trending game right now is Pac-Man World? Why? I don't fucking know.
I don't know. It gets I tell people about it constantly. Oh, God, I'm just whacking the mic now. I tell people about it constantly. Where
if you're not whacking something else, I thought you might say for a second there. So I'm okay with that.
Just whacking it.
Get that 2007 mindset.
Yeah. I have like severely messed up my mic now. Hold on. There we go. That sounds great. Me fixing my mic, I'm sure.
Okay. So we're going to be kind of talking about some of the news stories that happened in 2007.
YouTube is still new. All right, people whack their mics. It happens.
We're going to be talking about games that came out in 2007. I even did a bunch of polls in a bunch of Facebook groups, and I added all the numbers up. So we'll be talking about that later in the show too. So got some stuff. We got some stuff for you. I would say, like, I don't even remember what my favorite game from 2007 is. But we'll start with that. What is, Mike, since you're the guest, what was your favorite game in 2007? That came out that year.
Man, that's a tough call. Because like BioShock, Mario Galaxy, the Orange Box, like it was a great ass year. I'm gonna go with an odd choice and say Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations.
Interesting.
The third Ace Attorney, it's got such a good story. Like most of the cases. Oh wow, Cool.
You're one
Most
of
of
two
the
people
cases like all follow the same storyline. It's got a super great payoff at the end. So yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay. How about you? I already know your answer, Sue, but I'll hear it anyway.
What do you think my answer is? Because it might not be
Stalker.
what you think it is. I don't think I'd say Stalker actually. At
What?
the time, I would say it's my favorite game now that has come out in 2007. I think
That's kind of what I'm going for.
I didn't play it in 2007. I played it a couple years later.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That's fine. I mean, long as it's from that year.
From that year, then yeah. After in that year, I think my favorite game to come out that year was Call of Duty 4. That's the one I played the most of.
I played a lot of that too.
It was either that or like Mass Effect.
It's another very popular one for that year, I found out. Well, mine is a cheat, but I'm going to go with it anyway. Final Fantasy VI Advance came out that year.
Oh,
It's a good one.
And Final Fantasy VI is my second favorite game of all time, maybe? It's up there. Top 3, easy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Final Fantasy VI
That's
Advance.
me.
it's crazy to me that part of the reason we talked about part of the reason we picked 2007 is because Mike's is just randomly lucked into it. But part of the reason I was happy with it because it's such a weird year in gaming. So Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl came out that year, and the first Mass Effect game, and also Super Mario Galaxy came out that year. Like,
Hey, and don't forget, Super Mario 3 came out on Wii too. So does that count?
it was the first year. It was the first skate game came out that year. Like 2007
Yeah.
in my mind. In my mind, 2007 takes place over 2004 to like 2015. When I think of all the fucking games that came out that year, it's
Pit
unbelievable.
My Ride came out that year too for PSP.
Yeah, everyone's favorite PSP game, Pit My Ride.
There's weird shit that
Yeah,
came
Mike,
out.
did you get anyone that said their favorite game of 2007 was the PS3 port of Sonic the Hedgehog?
No, nobody even mentioned Sonic the Hedgehog for some reason.
People don't like Sonic 06? That's
I
unheard
really want
of.
to play it for the show, by the way.
Oh, man.
They
One
all
day
loved it,
we will.
but everyone played it in 2006, and then 2007 came, and that's when people realized it was a bad game.
So a couple things I do want to start with, like with 2007 to kind of paint the picture. The PS2 was still going on around this time. You still had PS2 games being released. Not many, because this was near the PS2 lasted way longer than it should have. But we were getting into the beginning of 360. Because 360 came out, I want to say in 06. Am I right?
Sounds right.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, because I remember I graduated high school in 06, and I remember my buddy had gotten money for college, which wasn't very much, but he spent it on buying a 360. So that probably was a better decision, because he dropped out anyway.
It's kind of odd because so many games came out this year, but the PlayStation 3 came out a year before this. The Xbox came out a couple years before this. The Wii was out for a couple years. So, like, realistically, no major consoles dropped this year, but just it was like every developer on the planet got together and they're like, yeah, let's just go ahead and like define the genre for every game for the next 12 years. We'll just do that now. Well, we have the time. Let's just do it now.
I mean, they kind of did.
They basically did. I mean, starting out like this year, you got people were waiting for Halo 3 to finish off what we thought was going to be the Halo trilogy.
Oh, jeez.
It was
How
a Halo
dumb we were
trilogy.
back then. We were going to finish the Halo trilogy, and that was going to be the last Halo game. We were going to get a new Call of Duty that was going to bring us from World War II into the modern era. Mario was going to be defined with Galaxy. Yeah, Medal of Honor. Well, Medal of Honor.
Medal of Honor Airborne came out this year.
People were still excited about Medal of Honor back in those days.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah,
People were still excited about Company of Heroes.
Forgot about Company of Heroes.
Yeah, Team Fortress 2 come out, which people still play to this day online. Zelda was completely changed with Wind Waker. Crackdown came out for Xbox 360. People were waiting for Crackdown 3.
For those that don't know, Crackdown was a huge, the only reason why people even bought it because it came with the beta for Halo 3. So everybody bought it for the beta, and I mean that game was Crackdown 1. I played it a year before I started the show, I want to say. But still a good game. The first one is still really good.
Oh yeah, it was funny because those games were like immensely popular for about a year or two, and then they just fell off the radar entirely. Like I had so many friends that were like, you gotta play Crackdown, you gotta play Crackdown is like that, like people that are like, Crackdown is gonna be the next big game. This is like what games are gonna be like. And then no one talked about it after that.
Well, it doesn't help that Crackdown 2 was not received well and not a good game. So that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, imagine a time period in which one bad game would kill a franchise. What are we on, like Halo 17?
No. But it's just one of those things where...
How many Assassin's Creeds have come out since then?
That might be 17.
That's, I think, legitimately is like on Assassin's Creed like 9 or 10.
There's 11 Assassin's Creed games.
Or 11. I was being conservative.
Oh, wait. 11 main games, 17 spin-off games, several short films, and various transmedia projects.
And 4 of them are good.
A lot more.
I would argue.
Since you brought up Assassin's Creed, the first Assassin's Creed came out this year, too, in 2007.
Yeah,
and this is before they came out every single year, because you had Assassin's Creed, and it wasn't until 2009 when you had Assassin's Creed 2, and that's when they start going crazy.
Yeah, that's when they said we need a new one of these every single year, and people were like, okay, Ubisoft, why don't you chill a little bit?
You know what? Most of them were good.
But it's also worth talking about, like, not just in terms of games, but, like, the internet landscape changed in 2007. Really. I mean, YouTube was around from 2005, but 2007, I actually had to look this up to be sure because I wasn't 100% sure of this. 2007 was the first Let's Play.
Whoa. Hey, that's cool.
I don't know if anyone remembers. I don't remember if anyone remembers Something Awful and Slow Beef and Retsu Praise, but
Something Awful sounds very familiar.
That was way back in the day. There was a guy named Slow Beef who became one of the commenters and creators of Retsu Prey, and it was like it was the first Let's Play, and it was also kind of like parodying the idea of a Let's Play, which is kind of weird. Like before they existed, they were making fun of that.
I mean, when did Game Informer's Replay start?
Oh God, I'm not sure.
2011?
Oh, is that late? I feel like it's earlier than that.
Let me look.
I mean, if only we had the ability to Google stuff in front of us.
That's what I'm looking for right now.
Because I mean, I never watched Let's Play videos back then. It wasn't until way later that I first got into them.
The first replay, which was Twisted Metal, was by Dan Reichert on January 27th, 2010.
Oh, okay. You guys weren't that far off then.
Yeah, it was. I remember a friend being like, we went over to his house because he had internet, but we had dial-up. He had that fancy fast internet, or what we thought was fast internet in 2007, and spending 10 minutes watching this video load and being like, you gotta check this out. You gotta check this out. And it was a guy playing video games. I was like, that's stupid. And then like a month later, fucking everybody was doing Let's Plays. And that's basically how YouTube was created.
Yeah. Now people get paid to make a living out of that.
Oh yeah, no, people were just doing it on their free time.
I mean, I like Let's Play. I mean, I still watch Let's Play videos. I watch speed runs. I mean, that stuff is fun. And so many people experience games now out of Let's Plays. Like, it's not something that I really realized until later on. Like, because sometimes you just don't want to play a game. Like, if you're playing, let's say here Parasite Eve 2, for example, you may just want to watch a Let's Play of it instead of playing it. So it's just one. So it's cool to know that this is the year when that idea came from. Like, I did not know that.
Oh yeah, it was. It's like people saw them and they were like, "Oh, this is kind of dumb." And then, like I said, like a month later, it was just everyone was doing it. It was like the Wild West for like 3 years until DMCA takedowns started happening. And it's a good thing those aren't an issue anymore in 2020.
And
YouTube really fixed their flawed DMCA rulings.
We also can't, like, the 360 was such a phenomenal system too when it first came out. Like, the fact, this was the first console system to really have online gaming and to create an online Xbox tried it. Xbox did it with Halo 2 and Halo 2.
Yeah.
So,
and they had that really shitty setup where with the original Xbox where you had to get a like cheap plastic microphone that looked like a toy from McDonald's to plugged into the controller. And because the controller had that bizarre like massive like port on the bottom of it that I never knew what it was for until finally I got one of those microphones and put it on there. And people started calling me the N-word and I was like, oh, okay, that's what the internet is. I understand now.
And nothing changed.
Hey, I played Halo 3 I played Halo 2 on Master Chief Collection a while back, and it's significantly less N-words. So that's progress, I guess.
Hey, 2020 is way different than 2007 was.
The internet has gotten slightly better, and that's hard to do.
2020 taught me anything. It taught me that the internet will band together for certain things. So.
Or it will schism apart as people will hide in the dark web.
Like 2007 was just such a I didn't play Halo 3 in 2007. My son was just born, so my whole life was he was born late 2007, but he was born in September. But even then, early 2007, I was getting ready to move to Minnesota, so I didn't experience any of these games until way later. So it's kind of interesting going back and looking at all these different titles, and I never played any of these really that year.
Yeah, it's insane. I really do have trouble wrapping my head around how many games came out that year, especially how many games came out that year that I've played. Because I'm like looking back, I was like, I know I was 14, but how the fuck even at 14 did I have the time for all of this? How did I have time to play Halo 3 nonstop and Call of Duty 4 nonstop? At the same, I probably put a couple hundred hours into both of those games multiplayers, and I don't know how I did that.
It's because you were a kid. I mean, that's one of the things that when you look back is when you're a kid, you have time somehow. You're only at school 6-7 hours a day or something. You don't have the huge commute. You don't have all the stuff that as you become an adult you have, or if you have kids or everything. Your life isn't like that.
Yeah, but I was in drama. I was a tech crew guy, so I was at school till 10 o'clock at night sometimes.
I got nothing then.
I think I just didn't sleep. I think that's the insomnia helped out.
With the amount of episodes we've done, I can believe that at this point about you. So
yeah, I sleep an hour a night. If anyone doesn't know, it's awful. It's great. Love it. That's ruined my life in any way.
So I want to say, didn't the Wii come out in 2007 also? Or was that 2006?
2006. So it came out and had a couple launch titles, and mainly everyone played Wii Bowling for a long time. and then we got new Zelda and Wii Play.
Zelda was 06.
Wind Waker?
Wind Waker was 02.
Wind Waker was not 02.
Wasn't it?
What? You're right. Wind Waker was 02. Yeah, Wind Waker was 02.
Phantom Hourglass was 07.
They ported it so we into.
I never heard of that Zelda game. That's weird. That doesn't. I never played Phantom Hourglass. I just know of it.
It's okay.
They ported it to Wii in, I believe, 2007, and then again to Wii U, which is a console that people tell me existed, but I don't have any evidence of.
I have one. I can send you pictures.
It'll be like Bigfoot. It'll be blurry in the woods. But yeah, this is it's also this is the year that online gaming kind of became a thing. It happened for consoles, yeah.
Because PC gaming was way ahead of this online with Doom and other things earlier in the 90s, I want to say.
Yeah, and MMOs up to this point, World of Warcraft was out at this point.
The expansion came out this year.
The expansion came out this year, yeah, which is a huge step.
I never played it. Never will.
I never played World of Warcraft, but from what I understand, yeah, it was a big step for MMOs to be hey, we're gonna start we're gonna keep those we're gonna do games as a service essentially. We're gonna keep making shit for this.
I mean, I did play an MMO, not in 07. Well, maybe beginning of 07. I played Final Fantasy 11, but that was a terrible mistake.
This is also the year that the B-movie game came out.
Hey, that's a good game. Okay, I was looking through this list, and I actually posted this in the Facebook post. And B-Movie is not a bad game. I don't remember much of it, but I'm pretty sure I got 1,000 points of Xbox achievements in it, and it was fine. If you get the chance, go play it. You might not hate it.
Mike is ready to die on this hill.
I can't.
My memory was that it was a good game. I have not played it since a long time ago, but my memory was it was a fun game.
And if this show has taught us anything, it's that our old memories of games is just 100% accurate.
Raccoon City.
Yeah, nothing changes.
Joke will never die.
This is the year that the year Crysis came out, and we had a new benchmark for computers for 20 years.
Okay, Crysis is another one of those that I forgot it came out in 2007 because it came out for PC, but I feel also so many PCs couldn't even run it.
No, they couldn't. That was kind of it was almost like a selling point for them to be a game so good that it'll break your computer. And for a long time, the Crysis games were the games that PC players got because they were that was a point of pride to be how good's your computer? I can run Crysis. It's oh shit, no, it's pretty good.
They did release it on Xbox 360 at some point, but it was a
severely downgraded model.
Okay, that's what I thought. I did play it on 360 and beat it, and it was okay.
Yeah, it was down-resed, which is a weird thing to say, but yeah. It was we're just gonna strip all this away. I can't imagine. It's so weird to me that Super Mario Galaxy came out that year because I don't remember playing it at all. I know I played it when it came out, but I can't remember playing it at all next to like Call of Duty 4 and Halo 3.
And we kind of been skitting around, but we have mentioned Call of Duty 4. But one of the things that we should mention about Call of Duty 4, this is also the first one where all the Call of Duties before were all World War II. This was a big leap when they were jumping into modern warfare. And
it was a big deal.
It's a good game too, but I mean,
that
multiplayer though. Like I didn't play it till 2008, probably 2009, because I didn't get would have been 2009. I didn't get a 360 till after my girlfriend at the time left me. Then I got a 360, but would have been 2009. I want to say.
It was perfect multiplayer. That and Halo 3, I think, were both like there was a point where people were arguing like, oh, what do you like? Do you play Halo or Gears of War? And then Call of Duty 4 came out, and everyone was like, do you play Halo or Call of Duty? And some of the back was like, I played Gears of War, and they're like, shut the fuck up.
Gears of War didn't come out this year.
Adults are talking.
That came out later.
Did that really come out later?
Yeah, Gears of War is definitely not 2007 because somebody would have said it. First Gears of War is 2006, November.
Yeah, the first Gears. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, never mind. You're not. You wouldn't play it that year. Okay.
Yeah. Or as it's called now, Gears, because they dropped the of War for some reason.
Are you sure?
It's not about war anymore.
Yeah, the newest one's just called Gears, I think. Or it might be called Gears of War, but it's marketed as Gears.
Yeah, I think it's just Gears 5.
See, when I hear Gears, I think of giant mechs and Xenogears, but I'm one of the few. So
I think of steroids, because steroids is called Gear. Come on, kids, get your gears.
Oh, right. Speaking of random games that came out in 2007, actually, one of the best games ever came out in 2007 was Symphony of the Night came out on Xbox Live Arcade.
That's not what I thought you were going to say. I was getting ready to judge you for saying something else.
What do you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say BioShock.
I do not love BioShock.
A lot of people love BioShock.
Oh, I know.
I kind of love BioShock.
I understand it, and I'd like to say I loved BioShock 2 when it came out, but our memories of BioShock and BioShock are very different things. I haven't gone back and replayed it. Oh, I've replayed it multiple times, and haven't gone back to it. Every single time I get to a point in that game where I'm like, how did anybody enjoy this? This is the worst thing I've ever, and it happens every single time I play it, right after you deal with Andrew Ryan, where that game slows down so much that it's miserable.
We also, one thing I do want to mention that has started, I want to say started in 2007, or at least it got, it was in 2007. With Xbox Live Arcade was something new, but also something amazing to people, because here you had the system where you could buy games online, download like smaller games, because they also had a limit to the game can only be 50 megabytes in size, and they had a lot of certain limitations people had to go with. But it was a way to re-release old games and a way to bring smaller games out there that didn't have to be AAA or even have to be a big release.
Yeah, it was kind of the start of like indie games really taking a big stage, and like Steam Greenlight games becoming a thing. And they didn't have any arcade games. Were rarely like I wouldn't call any of them like alpha titles, because that didn't become a thing till later. But it was just like a lot of smaller experiences that I actually remember having a shitload of fun with.
And WiiWare didn't start till 2008.
I don't remember when though. When did 1 vs. 100 happen on the Xbox Live?
Oh God, let's find out. That was not 2007.
That was 2009.
1 vs. 100. Well, we'll talk about that some other time. That was fun.
That was an insane game. I won a lot of shit on that game. I played a lot of it and won like a lot of Xbox Live online for free and a bunch of like Xbox points for free. That was a really good idea that they had, and I'm sure it didn't make them any money, but. And also, speaking of Xbox Live, we should talk about the stupid point system that they had back in 2007 that thankfully is gone, where I know other companies still follow this terrible formula, so you know what I'm talking about, people listening, but it's a formula, okay, the game's going to cost you 400 points, and points are just this magical number they just, instead of, just using dollar signs to trick you or something, but you can only buy 600 points. So you buy 600 points, now you have leftover points. So you're gonna want to buy some more points. It's an endless cycle, and it was just I don't miss that. Yeah, it was really dumb, because I remember a full the if I remember correctly, the comparison was that a full $60 game was worth 1,600 points, and you could buy them. It was like 1,600 points for a full game, and you could buy them in packs of 500. So you would have to buy 4 packs of 500. To be able to afford the $1,600 point game. And it's the same thing companies do now, where they're like, oh, we're going to do like a digital currency. Fucking Uplay to this day still does like their like Uplay points. And Just stop, please. Just stop. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of digital currency in games. Just say like, because it's like a
Minecraft still does it too.
It's like a trick. I feel like just to trick kids, where it's like to make it look like they're not gambling or something or buying shit. If they had skins in games. Yeah, but like if you had skins in games where it was like, oh, this skin will cost like $3, I feel like people are less likely to buy it than if they say like, oh, this skin is only worth like 300 Fortnite points. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Just tell me how much money it is.
It's all a marketing ploy. I mean, so, and this was a time when this had really been prevalent. Thank God it's no longer there. But I mean, speaking of game, and actually it looks like this thing was wrong. It told me that the Wii Virtual Console was out at this time, actually.
Yeah.
And that's another thing we should talk about, because I can't remember when the Wii Virtual Console started. I'm going to Google that really fast. But as I brought up, Super Mario Brothers 3 came out in 2007 on the Wii Virtual Console.
It came out in 2006, and then didn't really. It was like really late 2006, so 2007 is when it like hit its stride, really.
And I mean, for people, that was your first time you could legally get a hold of all these games from that era. And I mean, and they piecemealed this shit out in 2007 too. I mean, I didn't care. I mean, I actually bought Super Metroid. I bought Secret of Mana. And the thing about the Wii also that was so shitty at this time, none of us really realized, is that there were no accounts for the Wii in 2007. There were no accounts for the Wii ever, where anything you bought stayed on that Wii. And I remember so that was an issue where if somebody, let's say here your girlfriend broke up with you and took the Wii with her, well, you ain't getting those games back when you pre-buy a Wii. Example. I mean, but
well, to be fair, they could have gone with Xbox's model of it wasn't called transferring. It was like migrating. You could migrate your account to another Xbox, and it took forever.
Yes, it does, but at least you still can log in.
It took like hours to do it.
Yeah, to transfer your licenses. Yeah, I've done it a couple times.
Yeah, it's easier to move than it would be to like. There are times when like it'd be like, if my parents were like, all right, like we need to move, I'm like, let's just take the Xbox with us. Like I don't care if there's gonna be an Xbox there, or like if I'm switching Xboxes with somebody, it's gonna be easier to take this console and like walk down the street with it to a friend's house than it would be to migrate my fucking account to his Xbox.
Oh yeah, 100%. You would just grab the Xbox. I mean that's another thing. But I had to mention the Wii Virtual Console because it was such a revolutionary thing at that time in 2006, 2007, where you're getting these. I mean, for me, I was playing ROM. So I'm like, well, you can just download these games on here and play on your PC. So I didn't see anything that excited, but again, I did buy them a bunch. So I don't know
if it was before this, maybe. Would you say that 2007 is the year that like video games undoubtedly became mainstream?
I would say before 2007, but BioShock, Call of Duty 4, Halo 3. I mean, those are some big games that would have, like, Halo 3 would have been advertised, I bet you, in like a Super Bowl or some kind of big event like that. I could be wrong.
I think it was. I don't know that I would have said Halo 2 was mainstream though. I don't know that I would have said the previous Call of Duties were mainstream. Maybe the first God of War.
No, not previous Call of Duties for sure, because I was a gamer. I had followed in that circle, and I had never really. Because Call of Duty first one was only on PC, so Call of Duty had never even. I mean, I know there were other Call of Duty 2, the big red one, and stuff like that were on original Xbox, but it wasn't. I don't think it was mainstream at that point. I don't think. Not like what 4 did for the series.
No, I mean like God of War. I remember when God of War came out, and like I just remember like friends talking about it, but I didn't hear anybody else talking about it. And then God of War 2 came out, and I remember like my uncle talking about it, and I'm being like, my uncle who's like 50 has heard of video games? That's weird.
Well, God of War 2 would have been, God of War in general would have been recognized because it had nudity and stuff like that. So it probably was one of those games that people were talking about how it's gonna corrupt the kids. That same idea.
I don't know. To say 2007 was the year that games went like really cinematic.
Because remember, violence didn't exist before video games. Can't forget that. It wasn't there. There was no such thing as violence. World War II never happened. It was all fake. Video games started violence.
Everyone knows World War II only happened because Adolf Hitler had a copy of the early Call of Duty game. And I was like, oh shit, this is gonna go bad for me.
It was probably. I feel like video games hit the mainstream in 2006 when the Wii came out, and it was in like nursing homes and schools, and everyone just kind of like, maybe we should look into this video game stuff. This thing's pretty cool.
Well, it's
2007 kind of took off.
I'm glad you said that because before this, it's weird to think of Nintendo as like a competitor, and it's so weird to talk about like the console wars because I feel like anybody who gives a shit about console wars, quote unquote, today is just an asshole. Like nobody cares about it's the console wars. It's like buy whatever you want. If you like Xbox games more than PlayStation games, buy that. If you like JRPGs, you should probably get a PlayStation.
If you like JRPGs, you might as well go back in time because this is not the generation for you.
No one today or very goddamn it! I just got another fucking email. Trump birthday alert. Surprise. Why is the goddamn president's account emailing me about his fucking birthday? It's so stupid. I hate this so much. Somebody stop this.
So should I go, happy birthday, Mr. President?
Oh, jeez.
So annoying. Why would I give a shit?
We were saying 2007.
I'm getting so many fucking political emails now, and I fucking hate it. But
so you before this, the internet, Facebook heard you. That's why I did it.
Probably.
Like speaking of example, this is not 2007, but I messaged Stefan talking about Big Trouble in Little China, how we should cover for the show someday, and all of a sudden I get an ad for a Jack Burton shirt, and I'm like, wait a second, this is a messenger. I didn't make any post. I'm like, you fucking piece of ads. You're listening to me.
Back to what I was saying before the president so rudely interrupted us. I'm an asshole.
Yeah, that's why he's an asshole. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one and only reason. It's definitely not the everything else. But just cut this out, maybe. No. But yeah, before this. To our younger listeners, there were these things called the console wars, and they were terrible because they made everybody an insane asshole nightmare to be around. Where they'd be like,
Sega
the Xbox, Sega even just like the PlayStation Xbox feud, where it's like, the Xbox is better because it has higher resolution and blah 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 blah. It was stupid. Everyone was stupid for arguing it.
The original Xbox
have to admit that now
had one thing better, and that was the fact that it came with a hard drive.
Yeah, that was the only reason, basically. And like the amount of people that were like, PlayStation's better because it has these games. It's like, yeah, exclusives don't make the console itself a better piece of hardware, though. It was a whole argument that everybody had to have. And in 2007, Nintendo said, fuck all that. We're getting out of this game. Nintendo's going to be the fun console from here on out. And that basically made like family games like for everyone with like Wii Bowling, Wii Play. When they came out with the Wii, like the whole point of the Wii was you're gonna play these games like in the living room with your family, like you and grandma are gonna play Wii Bowling together. And to their credit, a lot of people's grandmothers got into Wii Bowling. It became super popular.
Even in today, in 2020, nursing homes will have a Wii still. And have Wii
Typically,
bowling.
Yeah. I have a Wii still somewhere. I think it's packed away with my GameCube, which I'll never get rid of, but I still have it.
Yeah, I still have my GameCube's hooked up only because of this fucking show. But
as much as I loved, as much as I was like on the Xbox side of the wars back in the day, like I'm a fucking Vietnam vet. Back when I was
fought for Microsoft back in those days.
I fought for Xbox. All right, they had me at Halo. All right.
Yeah, that's 100%. I believe that.
As much as I loved my Xbox, I had the Xbox and I had the Xbox 360. I think I've owned way more Nintendo consoles than any other console.
Well, that's not hard because Nintendo has more consoles than anybody else.
Yeah,
that's
been
true.
around the longest,
and they're typically a little bit more affordable. PlayStation.
Well, Nintendo lures you in with a low price, and then they punch you in the face with the game prices when they don't ever go down. So
yeah, that's fair.
Don't worry, the console will drop $100. Oh, but this game that came out 5 years ago, yeah, it's still $60.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild still $60 right now.
I think Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, which was a Wii U game, is on sale right now for like the first time since it came out for the Switch.
This is why I love Nintendo, but I don't play them until I can emulate them now.
To be fair to Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Wild is still a $60 experience.
Oh yeah, it's still worth $60.
I already paid my $60. I'll never play. Fuck that game.
Wow.
I had a really bad time. But speaking of 2007, I mean, there are also some other games. Like, another game that I forgot I didn't even know came out in 2007, was Contra 4 for DS came out in 2004 or 2007 also, which is the last 2D Contra game we ever got, or is the last one we ever got? It's really weird. It looks good, though. It looks really good.
That's your territory, and I put it on my list for next season.
The first one. Yeah.
It might have been the last one called Contra, because we got what the hell is it called? The Xbox Live Arcade
Hardcore
one.
Uprising.
Yeah, that's the one. It's essentially a Contra game.
but doesn't have Contra in the name.
Yeah,
I want to point out, it came out a couple years later, and I don't know if we'll do another one of the episodes of these episodes for like a different year. They're kind of
It depends if people download this or not.
If people download this, we'll do it for another year because there's other years that I think are worth talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But that Xbox Live Arcade, I remember a couple years later when Battlefield 1943 came out, I played the shit out of that. I played that for hours at a time.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was. Did you ever play Battlefield 1942? It was a PC game, so probably not.
You already know the answer to that question, buddy.
Yeah, I realized as I was saying it. It was an old Battlefield game for the PC.
You recorded 100 episodes with me. You should know that.
A lot of people played. I know a lot of people that played as much Battlefield 1942 as they played like a Counter-Strike. And when Battlefield 1943 came out, it was just like a minimized, like kind of cartoony version of it, and it was so much fucking fun. And there was like a month straight where I did not put a disc into my Xbox. That's all I played was 1943.
Yeah, that is kind of impressive.
It was so fun. I was so happy when I remember Xbox Arcade came out. I thought it was gonna be so stupid. I was like, no one's gonna play like shitty little like mini games on here. Like no one's gonna do that. And now I'm like, now that I've got my Switch, I'm like, put smaller games on it, please. For the love of God.
Well, that's the difference between 2014 Stu and 2020 Stu, because now you're an adult.
Yeah. Now I'm an adult and I don't have as much time. I just want a game I can beat in 20 minutes.
I mean, that's why, it's the same idea.
I'm more likely to put in Battlefield 1943, should the servers still work, than I would be to put in, like, The Darkness.
I'm glad you brought up The Darkness. The Darkness also came out in 2007, and that's a good game. Like, it only got one sequel, but it is a really good game.
I was playing it just last week.
I was just talking to our previous guest Sam about it because I was telling him you could watch full movies in it. You could watch
when you're on the couch with Jenny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
On the couch you could watch the Street Fighter movie, you could watch To Kill a Mockingbird.
Which the whole movies are in there?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could watch the entirety of To Kill a Mockingbird.
How did that legally get through?
I don't know. We were just talking about it. I was like, I cannot imagine a game coming out today, even like a public domain movie. Like imagine if like GTA came out and they were like, oh, we've got Night of the Living Dead. Some studio somewhere would like claim to own it still, even though it's in the public domain. Like that, the legal battle would be a nightmare.
Yes, I don't understand that.
Because you're allowed to sue anybody, even if you don't have legal rights. Yeah. I'm trying to imagine and people who play do GTA Let's Plays now. Imagine somebody doing like a Let's Play of The Darkness and filming themselves playing The Darkness, and then their version of playing The Darkness is sitting on their couch and watching the entirety of To Kill a Mockingbird. YouTube would fucking explode. They would have no idea, like their system would have no idea what to do. You're like, is this a movie? Is this a game? Is this allowed? Take it down. Take the whole channel down. I don't know.
I guess 2007 was also such a different time. Like, I mean, we'll get into this in other episode, but I mean, back in the Super Nintendo days, you have like Earthbound, for example, has actual songs that are in the game, but chip-tune them, but it's not legal. But it's different world.
It was kind of like, early internet was like Wild West in a lot of ways. Some people want it to come back. Personally, I do not want the internet to go back to those days.
No,
because it was like there was like a little bit more freedom, but everything was generally terrible. As much as I enjoyed,
you guys could set up a page for games my mom found on Tripod or GeoCities.
We could have had an official Games My Mom Found MySpace at this point. Like we would have
had. Is MySpace still around?
Kind of. It's Justin.
I'm not going to do it. I'm just curious.
And Justin Timberlake. I don't know if Justin Timberlake still owns it, but he bought it at some point. And then it became like not really a music streaming site. It was more of like a music, like, I don't know how to call it, like a publicity site, I guess. It was odd.
It lasted for a while.
I haven't checked in to say. I know it's
shut down, by the way. It's gone.
Is it? Oh, wait, is it shut down now? I thought it was still up.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't care.
Find out. MySpace.
No, it's still around. Officially, MySpace is still far from being dead. If you navigate to MySpace.com, you'll see that it's very much still alive.
Okay.
Far from dead.
Yeah. Something happened in 2019 where it lost all their user content from 2015 and earlier.
Well, that's probably fine. I think it's
with over 50 million songs and 12 years worth of content were permanently lost.
Speaking as somebody who was a teenager in 2007, I am completely fine. Like, I honestly, I kind of think that this should be like a law. Like, anything you do on the internet before the age of, like, let's say 20, when you hit 20, they should just erase it. It's like yeah, like you were a fucking angsty asshole teenager. Just get rid of it.
So,
no one needs to see
speaking of-
your shitty MySpace page.
With 2007
Your dyed
game,
black hair, your Hot Topic outfit.
as I was going through this list, one game that I'm sure none of us that are on the show right now have played, but I've always maybe someday I will. I keep telling myself. Command and Conquer 3: Tiberium Wars also came out in 2007.
Yeah, those were also huge games back in the day.
I mean, I played a ton of Command and Conquer, the classic stuff, and I will one day beat it. I keep telling myself that. I love RTSs, but I suck at them. Because when I play an RTS, I just build and build and build and build, and I just sit there. I don't want to. I just want to build. Leave me alone. Like I don't want to fight. I'll come fight you when I have 100 troops of the best thing. Like that's just how I play it. It never works out well.
I was always so curious about Command and Conquer because I didn't know what kind of game it was. I just know that all the posters I ever saw of it were like hot lady with a gun and it said Command and Conquer and it was like all red and I was like, what the fuck is this game? Like, and then I eventually found out it's like an RTS and I was like, what the fuck? That is not what that poster looks like.
Jenny McCarthy was like the poster girl for a while, I think.
Red Alert 2.
Yeah, this is a long time ago. Jenny McCarthy was still known as being random hot lady rather than insane person.
Is she insane now?
Oh yeah, she's quite insane.
I guess all celebrities are insane to some degree.
She's like one of the original anti-vaxxers.
Oh, fun.
And she's like hardcore. Now that she's not married to Jim Carrey anymore, he's still a bit of an anti-vaxxer too. A little crazy.
Anyway.
They're all crazy. Everyone that was popular in 2007, just insane, just a crazy person. Looking like the biggest actors. They're all crazy now.
A couple games we have to mention before we get near the end of this is Mass Effect came out in 2007. We have to, and I mean, Mass Effect 2 blows Mass Effect 1 out of the water, but you still got to give it that first one is still so damn good.
It was a huge deal because it came out, and I remember that was one of the ones that they talked about in the news because they were like, it has a sex scene in it. And I vaguely recall, I think it was like Nancy Grace when she's I don't know if she has a TV show anymore, but I think she was on like Fox at the time going like this game is gonna like make our children gay and it's gonna ruin all of them, and it was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then
those sex scenes are more tame than the ones in Ride to Hell Retribution, and in those, the characters are fully clothed. So
I remember hearing those interviews and being like, I gotta play this fucking game. Holy shit. So it was like, these sex scenes, they'll drive our children insane. I was like, I gotta play this fucking game, dude.
It's all BioWare marketing. They're like, hey, we're gonna give you all this money. Go in here and talk shit about our game.
Listen, according to
I don't think that's how it works.
Will make me bleed from my eyes and hail Satan. Like, that sounds crazy. Let's do it. And then playing the game and being like, this is like this is like tamer than any TV show I've ever seen. Like I watched Scrubs at that point. I was like, there's sex scenes in Scrubs that are like way more risky than this.
Or Friends, even probably.
Or Friends, yeah. In Friends, they joked constantly about how they lived across from a naked guy who they constantly looked at and described in detail what he was doing. And then Mass Effect came out and was like, it's gonna drive you insane. And you play, it's like a soap opera. It's like telenovela. By the way, if I could play Mass Effect in Spanish, I will, because it is a soap opera in space and it deserves to have like the insane, like they need to like redub it with Spanish soap operas, like stars.
That was not where I expected any of this to go, but
I want to hear the most dramatic like telenovela like soap opera star in Mass Effect going like, El Krogan.
Well, speaking of that, I have an idea. Let's play a game, guys. We're gonna play a quick little game. Okay. I want you to guess the top 10 2007 software sales games that came out. The MPD
software sales for
games.
So like digital games?
Just games in general. I don't know. It's just software sales.
Okay. I assume that made it confused me for a second. I was like specifically online.
I want you to guess what are the top 10, or just guess one of them and I'll tell you where it is on the list.
Let's see.
We already said there's Call of Duty that came out that year.
Call of Duty 4, number 3.
Okay, let me see if I can guess. Let me see if I can guess one or two. I'm gonna guess more selling than Call of Duty was BioShock.
Not on the list.
Really? That's shocking.
Not in the top 10.
BioShocking.
You went there.
Well, let me say Mass Effect then.
Not on the list.
Really?
there's a new Pokemon, so that's got to be on there.
Which one though?
Diamond.
Pokemon Diamond, 2,480,000 copies.
Damn.
Number 6.
Halo's got to be on the list, but I don't know if it'd be above Call of Duty.
Which Halo 3, number 1, with 4,820,000 copies.
I don't know why I was shocked by that, because Halo 3 at that point, they introduced a Foundry mode, which was a huge deal.
You're missing 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
I think Orange Box sold well, but I don't know if it sold well enough to be on the list.
On the list.
Assassin's Creed sold well.
Number 9 with 1,870,000 copies.
Oh, man.
So we have 1, 3, and 9 so far.
Yeah, you're not doing too good, by the way.
Rock Band sold kind of well. No, but Rock Band, you need all the
Not
birthdays.
on the list, but did come out that year.
Did come out that year.
A lot of people's favorite game.
We didn't talk about that, but Rock Band, like Guitar Hero was out at that point, but Rock Band.
Guitar Hero number 8, Guitar Hero 2
Really?
with 1,890,000 copies, and Guitar Hero 3 number 4 with 2,720,000 copies.
Wait, they both came out that year?
Yep.
Wow.
I didn't believe it either. But Guitar Hero 2 came out beginning of the year. Guitar Hero came out the end of the year because they were milking this franchise at this time.
Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I was like, that had to have
Girl,
sold well. Because there weren't a lot of games on the Wii at that point, and
You're
people were
missing
just buying whatever they could.
Number 2, number 7, and number 10. You're not going to get number 2.
Number 2 isn't going to be a game that was in the orange box that you forgot, is it?
It is not.
Okay.
It came out with the Wii. You will not guess it.
With the Wii?
It didn't come with the Wii. It came out.
Oh.
It's for the Wii.
It's for the
will
Wii,
not
but it
guess
came
it.
out with.
Oh.
Okay, then Wii Play.
Damn it!
Oh,
You're
yeah.
right. Number 2.
Yeah.
Wii
And
Play
then it
did not
only
come with the
sold-
Wii.
It only sold that well because it came with the motion plus
and it was
attachment.
cheaper. It was $10 more, and Wii Play was actually. I remember I bought it. It was actually really good.
Yeah, it was. People kind of made fun of it because, I mean, again, this was like the console war era, quote unquote. People were like getting pissed at people for like being casual gamers, but Wii Play was really fucking fun.
Yeah,
Had that cow racing game.
Uh-huh.
had a little like tank game too. I remember playing that a bunch. I had to break the targets. I played it a lot. It was.
Find me.
I remember a lot of consoles have tried to do this, and none of them have ever succeeded. Aside from Nintendo, is they had like the like avatar things. You could like meet up with your avatars.
I don't remember a lot of Wii Play.
Yeah, PlayStation
not
Home.
the
I remember when PlayStation Home was like going to be a thing, and I was super excited about it, and then it just didn't happen, I guess, or it came out and no one cared.
Came out 2008, I think.
Yeah, but like nobody cared.
All right, do you have any guesses for the last 2 games? God. One is not something any of us will ever talk about on the show normally.
It wouldn't have been.
It comes out every year.
So
We said Assassin's Creed already, didn't we?
Some kind of sports game.
Yeah, it's a sports game.
Oh, okay. So hold on, because I'm gonna say Madden games are always titled for the next year. So it was Madden 08, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
1,900,000 copies.
Yeah, because Madden 07 will never come out in 07, just the way the season works. I've always fucking hated that.
And there's one last game, number 10.
It's gonna be like the Alvin and the Chipmunks game.
Mario. Not that game, but it involves a Mario.
But it wasn't Super Mario Galaxy.
Galaxy was number 5.
Do a quick search here on the 2007 list.
What other Mario game came out? Wasn't
It's not Super Paper Mario.
It involves partying.
Mario Party 8.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Mario Party 8 is also named for the year preceding the year they come out.
It wasn't, but
Mario Party 08.
You know, they have to collate all of Mario's stats from that year. So,
and just to say it real quick, Halo 3, Wii Play, Call of Duty 4, Guitar Hero 3, Super Mario Galaxy, Pokemon Diamond, Madden NFL 08, Guitar Hero 2, Assassin's Creed, Mario Party 8. For those that care.
I'm going to go ahead and claim now, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it feels true, that the only reason that Guitar Heroes sold better than Rock Bands is because you didn't need to buy new controllers for the other Guitar Heroes.
Yes.
Rock Band was an objectively better experience, but you needed to buy the extra shit, and it was crazy expensive.
One of my biggest regrets. I never got to play Rock. One time for one night, I played Rock Band with 3 friends because my son was little at this time, so I was busy being a father. I was a single father at the time, and so it was just. And I remember one time I got to play Rock Band. A couple guys brought it over, and that's one of my regrets because as I was going through and asking people what their favorite games were, so many people were like, "Oh, Rock Band, Rock." You know, not a lot of people, but people had mentioned Rock Band, and I always regret that I never really got to experience that.
It was,
never will. I own it. I bought Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, the whole kit, and I'm like, one day I'm going to set these up. They've been in storage for 6 years now.
I had a number of friends that they were so serious about Guitar Hero or so about Rock Band that there were 5 of them. All right. One person bought Rock Band for his console and the other 4 people bought the instruments and would take the instruments home with them when they left his house. And so you'd see a kid walking down the street with a plastic guitar strapped over his back. And I always felt bad for my friend who was the kid with the plastic drum set that he had to take home. And I was like, dude, just leave it at his house. And he was like, oh no, his mom doesn't want him to have like this whole thing in his room. And so he would walk home every day with his fucking drum set. And eventually we were like, get a wagon. And so he would wagon it home, which was the saddest sight ever.
One of our used game stores still has some of those Rock Band drums. I'm like,
they're not easy to find, by the way. Like there was one year when I went really looking for them. They are not easy to find.
Yeah, they're still charging like $60 for it. I'm still like, should I buy that just for drums?
Remember when I don't know if it was Rock Band or Guitar Hero. I think it was a Guitar Hero where they said at some point that they were just going to release an actual guitar as a controller, and everyone was like, "They did."
That was Rocksmith. I own it.
And everyone was like, what the fuck? Just buy at this point, just buy a guitar. Like, they should have marketed it as, like, you can get the guitar and learn how to play the actual guitar. But they didn't. They marketed it as, like, a controller, and at no point did they say it was a real guitar. And everyone was like, you're trying to trick us or something. I don't trust you.
No, it's just one of my gaming regrets. I never got a chance to experience it.
It's I never wanted to be the kid that owned Rock Band, but I was glad that other people had it because I just didn't want to have the shit piling up in my room. Because I know for sure if I had owned it myself, I would still have a bunch of plastic guitars in my closet that I just wouldn't get rid of.
Yeah, I have plastic guitars in my storage unit that I have multiple times picked them up and go, I don't need this, and then I put them back down.
We should do an episode on like Rock Band or Guitar Hero and like try to get like ship us out the plastic guitars and we'll play online or something.
If we all didn't live in different states, I would consider that. But we live in
the shipping would be a nightmare.
I mean, I get discounts because I work for a shipping company, but still, not happening.
Just get a random. It'd be great to get a random guitar-shaped package in the mail, and it was like, "Oh, did you buy a new guitar?" I'm like, no. A tiny little plastic Les Paul. I thought about like games that would be ridiculous and fun for us to play on the podcast, like multiplayer exclusive games or multiplayer games that'd be fun. I think it would be fun to try to get like the controllers or like the drum set for Rock Band and set it up one night.
Yeah, it just I always wish I always wanted to do that experience. Like I so badly wanted to set up and do a whole experience where I got to play with other people, and I just never got to it. It still kind of bugs me because I loved Guitar Hero 2 back in 2007. I loved Guitar Hero 3, but yeah, it's just one of those things. And it was cool to see.
It's crazy to me that this was the year before Xbox Live avatars were introduced. Because it's still the blades, yeah. And after they changed the blades, that's when they introduced the avatars to battle Louise Mies, which is a weird sentence to say.
Yeah, I remember the Mii's were so damn cool. I look back and they are not cool.
No, but they were super fun because I would I remember my whole family would be like, all right, make us the Mii's to play. And so I'd make a Mii for everyone in my family. And then I don't know why I do this. I still do this on the Switch. I always make like 3 extras that are just characters I like. Like I always have a Mr. Miyagi Mii. Named, of course, Mr. Miyagi.
Oh, that's pretty good.
On my Switch, I have me. I have a friend, and then I have like all the characters from Full Metal Alchemist. I have like Inuyasha and Kagome. I have
I'm not surprised.
I have everybody. I've got my Mr. Miyagi, of course, because you have to.
That's when you need games like Tamagotchi Life and Miitopia, where it uses all the Mii's you have on your system as characters.
On my Switch currently, I have 12 Mii's. They are Stuart, Mr. Miyagi, Inuyasha, Kagome, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Mustang, Hawkeye, Winry, Edward, and Izumi. I have never played with anybody other than my Mii, even though I hate the way it looks. And so I'm just glad to have Mr. Miyagi next to it.
You got all your closest friends.
All my friends. All my real life friends. Mr. Miyagi and Inuyasha. That's all I needed.
Some things haven't changed since 2007.
Yeah. Are we getting a new... Well, we have Cobra Kai and we're getting a new Inuyasha series, so...
Oh, a couple more games we should mention before we go on to what people's favorite picks were. Uncharted Drake's Fortune started in 2007 also.
Yeah.
The worst game of the series came out that year.
Yeah. Well,
great series. The first one is the worst.
From what I understand,
rough.
people either love or hate the latest one, depending on who I ask.
4 is amazing. I never played the side one, and 3 is okay, but one is rough.
I think I've
What was
only
the
played...
defeated one? Golden Abyss? Was that
Oh
count?
god, I forgot that existed. But yeah, you're right. I've never played it just because I never owned a Vita and I don't know how to emulate Vita. So
I think I've only ever played Drake's Deception.
number 3. No, I mean, Uncharted 1 is not a bad game. It's just there's a couple parts where the final boss fight is ridiculous, and there's a couple things that are so improved in 2, 3, and 4, especially 2 and 4, that it is amazing. Like, it's an amazing series, but the first one's a little rough.
I'm sure I would really love that series. I liked the one I played a lot, despite not remembering which one it was. But I never bought a PlayStation 3. I had to borrow my cousin's, and so whenever I borrowed his, I would play like Assassin's Creed, Brotherhood, and one of the Uncharted games.
Oh, I do have a question for you guys. So, do you have any last things you want to say about 2007? We have a couple more things we're going to go into. I want to have you guys guess what was the top game. What was the top pick people picked?
What?
Top games people picked. Yeah, try saying that 10 times fast.
The top games people... Oh, so like the best like reviewed games?
Just what people voted for. I asked everyone their favorite game. I asked in 5 or 6 different groups what was their favorite game from 2007 that came out in 2007, didn't have to play it in 2007, and I figured out the top 7.
I'm guessing on this episode. I feel like
then it starts getting too close. So what do you think?
There's a couple games we haven't mentioned.
Probably
we have
Modern
mentioned
Warfare.
Nope.
Mario Galaxy?
Mario Galaxy is number 4.
These are
Modern
our
Warfare.
Fans.
Wait, one second. I gotta. This wasn't organized in that way. Modern Warfare is number 4.
Mike organized them 1 to 10 alphabetically.
No, they're just organized in this way I wrote it. Had to do with people who voted.
Modern Warfare was what? Number what?
Number 4.
Number 4. And Mario Galaxy was what?
I have 2 number 4s. Call of Duty 4 is number 5.
Okay, I see where you got confused. Okay, so Mario Galaxy was number 4. Modern Warfare 1 was number 5. Yeah. Call of Duty needs to fix that shit because I mean they kind of fixed it now, but there was a point where everyone was like, "Did you get Call of Duty 4? It's the 5th Call of Duty. It's Modern Warfare 1, so you can play Call of Duty 5, 4, 3, which you got Modern Warfare 3." It was so fucking annoying.
No, Call of Duty 4 was the 4th. Modern Warfare 1 was the 4th game because after that you had World at War, then you had Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, then you had Call of Duty Black Ops, and you had Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah, there was a point where Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 3 was like the 9th game in the series. It was like, why?
Not called that, is it?
No, it's called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say.
Call of Duty, like, the joke was that it was Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 3.
But it wasn't the one last year. It was just called Modern Warfare again.
Yeah, they did Advanced Warfare. They're like, it's back to Modern.
Advanced Warfare.
Not confusing.
Okay, game.
Was that the one where they fucked up and they got Kevin Spacey and they were like, "There's no way this will fail for us."
Yeah, good game though. I played it a couple years ago before the show.
That was like months later that he fucked everything up for everybody. I'm gonna guess number 1. People fucking love BioShock. In our
number
group.
1 with 49 votes was BioShock.
God, people replay. I know everyone loves BioShock, and I hate to take away people's enjoyment of it, but replay BioShock and get past the Andrew Ryan stuff. And tell me that it's the best game.
I played all 3 of them last year, and they're still all solid. So maybe I'm the problem.
I think the first 2/3 of BioShock are an incredibly solid game, and then nothing happens for about 3 hours.
The end that comes, that happens.
And then the game ends, and you're like, that was great. Not that last part, but all that stuff leading up to that last part was great.
I haven't played it in years, but to answer your other question for what you guys did vote, because I did not say, Super Mario Galaxy was number 4 with 23 votes. Call of Duty 4 was number 5 with 19 votes, and some of these people did vote twice because they would say a couple different games. I said, fuck it, I just put it on there anyway, especially when it was undercut games. Like there's a few gems that people said that I would not have expected.
I would have said, I'm going to guess that Halo 3 was number 3.
Halo 3 was number 3. You're right, 24 votes.
Yeah. I know our audience better than I know general consensus.
I mean, I'm not going to say to our audience. This is just people in Facebook groups that responded. Hopefully we'll be our audience now.
Earth Defense Force 2017.
One guy brought it up.
Really?
Sweet. Was it James Johnson from the Overblood group?
It was not. It was some other random person. And somebody
I was going to say, was it from the Overblood group? Because I'll sit here for 5 minutes and try to guess who it is.
No, I don't remember what group it was from. But Team Fortress 2 had 7 votes. EA Skate had 5 votes.
Oh, weird.
Someone said Ben 10 that came out in 2007.
Really?
It wasn't me.
Somebody said Fear, the first one, gave 1 vote. Portal had 13 votes.
Do you know if Sam voted for Fear? Because Sam fucking loves Fear.
Sam didn't vote.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure Sam did not. I don't
If
remember
I had to guess anybody, it'd be Sam for Fear. Sam wants us to play Fear very badly.
I want to play Fear too. I bought Fear in anticipation of playing it at some point, like over a year ago, and you still have yet to put it on the show. So,
well, I don't have to be the one. You know, Stefan could do it.
Stefan likes weird games, as you see it the next season.
Fear's a weird game.
Yeah, but he likes really weird shit, like Futurama and Under the Skin. So,
is there any chance that the Tomb Raider Anniversary was on the list?
One person mentioned Tomb Raider Anniversary.
Really? Okay.
One person mentioned winning Pro 11 Soccer.
What? The Tomb Raider Anniversary was the second best reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise.
Out of the two reboots?
I stand by that comment.
I actually bought it. Somebody said Overlord too for some reason.
Really?
And Kane Lynch. Somebody said Kane Lynch.
Wow.
We're gonna talk about it.
I know that's what's fun. That's why
we're going to talk about Kane Lynch before we're going to talk about Fear or Tomb Raider Anniversary.
We talk about weird shit.
We talked about a Tomb Raider game.
Somebody said Peggle also.
Peggle's a great game. Yep. Peggle's really fun. That was a great little arcade game.
Somebody said Rogue Galaxy.
Persona 3?
FF6 Advanced had 2 votes. I was not one of them, but
twice as many as Kane Lynch.
Yeah, so it was a couple different things I didn't expect. Pokemon Diamond had 1. Team Fortress 2 had 7 votes. Crash of Titans had 1. So it was kind of cool to see what people really loved that came out that year. And there's a good chance some of these were the only game they played that year.
I was wondering if okay.
No love for Bullet Witch.
No, but no one said Bullet Witch.
No love
for
But if Adam, you're listening to this, I know you like that game.
No love for X-Blades?
No X-Blades either. X-Blades didn't come out that year, did it?
Didn't it? Yeah, no, X-Blades was 2007. X-Blades was like...
I own X-Blades.
Do you really?
Yeah, I bought it on PC, and I bought it on 360. So, yes, I own 2 copies.
That does not surprise me. I remember seeing the cover for X-Blades and being like, there's no way I'll be able to convince my parents to buy this game with this big-ass, almost naked woman on it.
I've always meant to play it. It has never happened and probably never will, but one day I mean to.
I bought it this year and I played it for half an hour before I put it down.
I almost bought it.
I bought it 3 times
because of the butt. But
I bought it on PS3, 360, and PC. But
PC
was a bundle.
You can just look at the cover of it online. You don't have to buy it every time you see it. No, I was gonna play it because I was stupid and my brain said, this game has a butt on it. There's no way it's a bad game. And then a month later, or the month after I said that, I got the Game Informer issue that had the X-Blades review, and it was 5 out of 10. I was like, oh, that's bad.
Look forward to that upcoming episode, listeners.
Yeah. Hey, Paperboy came out in 2007, also on Xbox Live Arcade. They re-released the NES one.
I never got X-Blades, but I did get the X-Blades cover for the Xbox Blades background.
Oh, and I actually do have a couple of comments I want to read from some people in the Facebook groups. And first one from the Overblood group, from Autumn Sever. I know I pronounced this wrong. After checking the list, I was honestly leaning towards the Godfather of the game, but after scrolling farther, apparently Assassin's Creed and Mass Effect came out that year. So if we're talking, it came out 2 years later. Game Mass Effect. If we're talking, I played it in that year, then I'm pretty sure I actually did play the Godfather game around that time, since that was around the time I was acquiring things via various means.
Well, also, that Scarface game, because Godfather
really wasn't bad either.
Came out in 2006.
Godfather, another version came out on PS3 for 2007.
I guess that counts.
I looked. Because I was like, wait a sec. And this one from Sean.
That was a great game, though. That was a really
Godfather.
The Godfather game was awesome. Because if I recall, I hope I'm not mistaking you with the second Godfather game, because there was 2. But you take on the character of an outside. You play as an outside character who's just living through the movies while rising through the ranks of the mob family, the Corleones, and it was it's a non-canon game, but it answers some questions that people had with the Godfather movies, who put the gun in the bathroom or of the Italian restaurant where Mike wants to kill the dude.
It's like the Ghostbusters game.
And who put the horse's head in Jack Woltz's bed.
We all have the ability to play this game, so if you ever want to play
I would not mind putting it on the list. It's a pretty good game. I don't know if it holds up.
It's Godfather. Somebody will listen to us. Okay,
might be better than... I don't know if it's better or worse than the first Mafia game.
I don't know. I only played Mafia 2. Mafia 2 is really good. This question, or this comment from Sean McLean said, oh God, I played a lot of that year. Mass Effect, I absolutely ripped through and loved at the same time. Same with BioShock. Supreme Supreme Commander is still absolutely a joy to play in multiplayer. Speaking of multiplayer, there was a good solid month where I played Halo 3 with 3 specific friends every goddamn day.
Yeah. The replayability of Halo 3 was insane. Just not just the multiplayer standard, but like the Foundry mode with people making their own game modes was nuts at the time. It was just like people making like insane racetrack maps and like essentially obstacle courses you had to get through as fast as you could, or like cool infection maps. Foundry mode was like a fucking game changer for the Halo franchise.
Wasn't it called Forge?
Forge, not Foundry. You're right. Sorry.
I was wondering what you were talking about. I'm like, wait a second.
I knew Foundry was wrong, but I didn't know why.
We'll just blame 2014 Stu. That's all.
Yeah. It's Halo Forge, you're right. Forge mode and theater mode. And they added that theater mode was also like in terms of YouTube Let's Plays being phenomenal. Like when they added the theater mode where you could go back and watch your entire game. That was just, it had so many uses. Like people just like would name themselves funny things and try to get killed in games and go back in theater mode and, you know, get the funny screenshots, or like being able to play it. And as somebody who didn't become a pro player until the next year, not to be pretentious about it, but as someone that the next year would become a pro player, I actually really enjoyed going back in theater mode and like trying and seeing like how I messed up and how to get better. It was a super useful tool for that. And plus you get just the coolest screenshots.
All right, and I have one last memory to read from a friend of the show, Kerry Chandler. I should say friend. I just talked to him on Facebook. He hasn't been on the show yet, but maybe one day. So his comment was Mass Effect for sure. Mass Effect is my
I mean, you come on the show, not Mike come on to read the memory. I realized that could have been misconstrued.
I know. That's what I was going to make a joke.
Come on already.
He said, Mass Effect is my favorite completed series of games. While the first game is the weakest of the trilogy, it is still a great game. I got really into the story and because heavily invested in the characters. My Shepard became romantically involved with Liara and was true with her throughout the trilogy, somehow avoiding all the space ass that was thrown at him while she was away in Mass Effect 2. But apparently he led on Ashley Williams and she confronted him and Liara near the end of the first game. I found myself genuinely sad that I had hurt her feeling such a well-written game.
I find it so funny that like as a kid, I was like, this game isn't like as sexy as they made it out to be. And then going back and playing it as an adult, I'm like, this is the most sexual game I have ever played. Despite not having any sex scenes, the fact that you are constantly staring at like your commander's ass in every single scene. Like everyone's wearing like skin tight rubber suits. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Such a good game too.
It's the most overtly sexual game.
I do agree that it's probably the worst in the series, but that's not saying much. It's just great. It's still great.
Yeah, I'd say it's the worst in the series. Including Andromeda. I liked Andromeda.
I never played Andromeda yet.
I know people didn't like that game. I enjoyed it gameplay wise. I thought it was great.
Yep. I was thinking of the first three though, like because 2 is the best, easy. And 3's good.
I go back and replay 2 and 3 all the time, and every time I go back to replay the series, I start replaying 1, and then I go, "Oh yeah, I remember why I'd never do this," and I play 2 instead. And I just download a character, like a pre-made character sheet.
1 will probably be in the show someday. It'll be rough to go back to. But also, do you have any news stories to mention from 2007 before we start to wrap up this episode?
I mean, just to mention about Mass Effect real quick. The fact, I mean, they obviously, I don't know if they had planned this at this point, how much they were talking about it, but the fact that your character would carry, like the character that you played in 2007 could carry over for the next 2 games, they like blew people's minds back then. That was insane. To carry your old save over and change the world. So if you start playing like Mass Effect 2, like potentially, you know, Rex could have been dead. Spoilers for a game that came out in 2007. You can kill Rex.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about that at this point.
You could potentially play Mass Effect 3 with like characters killed off from Mass Effect 1 and 2 to the point that your crew would be like half the size or a third of the size, I think. Insane. It's crazy.
You can lose everybody in Mass Effect 2 I'm pretty sure most of the time if you fuck up.
Yeah. You get James Vega, everyone's favorite character from Mass Effect 3. The one that fucking everyone hates.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Fucking the guy who shows up and he's like, "Hey, who are you? What have you done?" And you're like, "I've saved your life." literally saved the galaxy twice. You know this. You work for the fucking Alliance. Like you've heard of me, motherfucker. Hey, I don't know you. When I see Harbinger, my muscles are gonna do the talking. Do your pull-ups, James. You piece of shit. Let's see. Big year. Big news for 2007.
There's any we haven't covered yet. I think we covered the majority of stuff.
It was the year that the Xbox Elite came out. Xbox 360 Elite.
That's a good thing.
That was
the
a bigger
PSP
hard drive.
Slim.
It was the HDMI Xbox. PS Slim came out. It was the first time I made a note of this because I read it earlier this week. It was the first time that Sonic and Mario ever appeared in a game together.
That is big news.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, which, to be fair, is a recurring series. Like, more games come out like that. Shockingly, Mario and Sonic are still playing the Olympics together.
It's every 2 years there's an Olympics.
Yeah, every 2 years it's either an Olympics or Winter Olympics, with the exception of this year because it's postponed to 2021, and I don't know if it's still going to happen. I hope it does because I love the Olympics, but probably not.
Yeah, this year nothing's happening.
It's the Olympics are hard to do even in like safe years because Olympic villages are such like dangerous areas for viruses anyway. You have to consider bringing people from all over the world and putting them in like a really tiny space together, and all the workers and like production crews are all there, so it's like 4,000 people who, by the way, are all having all the sex all the time. That's actually a thing that happens in every Olympic village. Like you can look at like any country, whenever there's an Olympic village set up, the sale of like condoms fucking skyrockets. So pretty dangerous health risks for a normal Olympic village, and in this current situation, I doubt it'll happen, especially in Japan.
Jeez.
Okay, that's something I was expecting this podcast to go, but not surprised.
It's just a fun fact for you about the Olympics.
Fun is a
on each other, which why wouldn't they be? They all look like fucking Greek. Like when you think about it, it makes complete sense. WiiWare was announced a year to move on to other things. This was the year that Xbox kind of addressed and fixed, quote unquote, the Red Ring of Death.
Yeah, sure. They fixed it. Okay, I believe that.
Yeah, I think their fix was to just like extend their warranty so that everyone could get it fixed, because they came out and they basically admitted, like, hey, we fucked up. Like, this is a really bad problem. So if your Xbox fucks up, just tell us and we'll replace it for free. And I've had to replace quite a few Xboxes that way.
And Xbox had a lot of problems with that. I remember the towel trick. I mean, I don't remember. I mean, there were a lot of different things people did. And the first 360 I ever got wasn't mine, and I killed it. And I never forgot that. It was my girlfriend it was my girlfriend who lived with me but broke up with me but hadn't moved out yet. And her boyfriend bought her an Xbox 360, and then I killed it by trying to play Devil May Cry 4.
Halo 3 set the record for the highest grossing game in an opening day. At the time, it was 170 million. I don't know if we said that already.
Wow.
We briefly mentioned it, but not that.
Yeah, it was at the time. Everyone was like, that's why I say, like, I think games were made mainstream that year because it came out that they sold 170 million dollars worth of that game in the first day, and everyone was like, oh, is this like an actual industry? And like, you know, Hollywood started turning their heads like, how can we make movies off that shit?
I mean, there already were game movies before 2007, but
but that's when they started announcing a shitload. I remember, wasn't that when they first announced a Halo movie
and the BioShock movie? Remember, that's coming out,
and the BioShock movie, which still hasn't come out, but according to the fucking studio, they're still working on it, so who fucking knows? They released several Halo movies, and I think they're all fine.
We covered one of them on the show.
Let's see here. We talked about Super Mario Galaxy quite a bit, but that was the introduction of the character Rosalina, which whenever Mario or Nintendo introduces a new character, it's typically a pretty big deal. I think who was the last major character they introduced? Bowsette.
She's not real.
Changing the landscape of the internet forever.
But she wasn't introduced by Nintendo. That was
I mean, the fucking crown thing is a character, right? But
yeah, but it doesn't do that. Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah.
Peachette.
But it does. Yeah, Peachette. That's right. It was Peachette. We're gonna introduce. Sorry, they introduced Peachette, and then Bowsette took over the internet, and people are just as horny now as they were in 2007. That's all I'm saying. I love whenever there's always that like joke when Nintendo comes out with a character where they're like, "There's no way the internet can ruin this." It's like within minutes.
Like every Pokemon Sword and Shield trailer where they introduce a new character, like minutes later, it's all over the internet.
Rosie has a great skit about it where he's like, "Sir, they're making it horny again." Jesus Christ, wait, it's a fucking hamster. I know, I can't stop him. Shut it down.
Oh yeah, this be Peach Hauser. You're part of the problem.
There's a funny little note. In 2007 they released a teaser trailer to let everyone know that they were still working on Duke Nukem Forever. They released it 6 years after the last trailer, and the game was promised to come out, and it certainly did 4 years later in 2011. And then everyone hated it, and it was a huge disappointment. Oh, and EA shut down EA Chicago, which certainly wasn't an omen of things to come.
Okay. I don't think there's any way for us. Is there a way for us to do Shelf or Box for this episode?
No, I don't know. I don't really know how to end this episode. We could just say any particular memories we have of 2007 instead.
Sure.
I don't want to say I boxed the year of 2007.
I mean, I boxed the year of 2020.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair.
It's not over yet. It's the first half.
I would say it can't get worse.
Don't you dare! I'm not even gonna let you say it. I'm not even gonna let you say it. You shut the fuck up. We could go anywhere. The rules are out the window. Anything is possible. Because you fucking say that, and by the end of the year, we won't have a planet left to live on. I guarantee you. Do not jinx this.
Oh, we'll just be in shuttles. I'll be recording games my mom found. Like, where are you at? I'm currently orbiting Mars right now. All right. We still got connections.
Oh, yes. This sounds kind of awesome.
At this point, like total anarchy by the end of the year, I think would be an improvement.
It's getting there. Oh, wait till August.
I don't think, I'm not sure any events started this year. I think PAX, this is like one of their, I want to say this is like maybe the first year that PAX really started to take off because they had to move this year. When PAX started, it was in like a tiny little convention center in Bellevue, Washington. They had to move to the Washington State Convention Center. I think they had like an attendance of like 40,000 people. When they started, it was like 9,000. Or no, when they started, it was 3,000 and they grew to 40,000. And now they're like, not the biggest, but is PAX the biggest like video game convention specifically?
Probably.
I don't know if I'd say, because Comic-Con is like mostly video games, but it's still comics and movies too.
Yeah, I mean, not counting E3.
Maybe E3 this year. I don't know when PAX is happening this year. We'll see. E3 this year was a fucking mess. I know people keep telling me like for sure the new Spider-Man game is a standalone, but I still don't know. I still like Insomniac Games has come out and been like it's a standalone game, but in the back of my mind I'm like, but is it? Like, do we know for sure? I can't. E3 this year is so fucking bungled.
I don't even really call it E3.
Yeah, poor E3. E3 is just so weird. We might have to do a whole episode on just like talking about E3 because that's such a weird event that has changed so much over the years.
I think that's about all we got to say about this episode so far. Should we introduce it?
We could do a clickbaity headline for that. We could do like a clickbait episode that's like the fall of EA.
E3,
or the fall of E3, I mean, yeah. Well, we did the fall of EA too.
Yeah, it's kind of done that themselves.
Yeah. We'll just read for the fall of EA, we'll just read the EA Wikipedia article. And in 2016, they fucked this up, and in 2017, they fucked this up.
I think we should wrap this up. Well, I think I should introduce what we're going to be talking about next week. For those that can't wait, we are doing the much requested, no one asked you requested.
For those that can wait, stop the episode now.
Actually, the only episode anybody's requested has been Golden Sun 2, and that's still not on the cards yet because we don't want to do it.
I know. The amount of people that specifically come up to me and ask for Golden Sun 2 is surprising. Because it's people that had never played Golden Sun like I had. Yeah,
a lot of people want us to play it, and we just go, we should. And then we make the new season, and none of us put it on there. So
I get Golden Sun 2 a lot. I get Fear a lot, mainly from Sam.
Put Fear in the damn show. I want to play it.
I want to put it on my list, but every season I'm like, there's better games. And Sam's going to hate that I said that, but
that's okay. Maybe. And so we're going to be talking about Parasite Eve 2, because Parasite Eve 1 is one of our top 10. So I figured, why not we play the gem Parasite Eve 2, and then I played Parasite Eve 2, and I regret everything. So you will hear more next week. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that finally, because it's been a little over a year since we played Parasite Eve 1, so it seemed like a perfect time to dive into the second one.
Yeah, and it was, I would say it was a smash hit for us.
Because
you were the only one to play it, and Steph and I ended up both loving it. for arguably different reasons, but
Have you started 2 yet?
I have not started 2 yet.
All right.
I have not slept this week. And yesterday, while celebrating my grandmother's birthday, at some point I felt terrible. And I just came upstairs and I was like, I'll just sit down for a second. And I passed out and woke up at like 3 hours ago. So I've had so much fucking work. So hopefully this week this week I will burn through Parasite Eve 2.
It's not that long. Just use a guide, and I have cheat code and download cheat codes if it breaks you, like it broke me.
Hopefully hopefully by the time I'm done with it, I will not be sweating blood like I am now at this point.
Or when you beat Parasite Eve 1. We'll talk about that next week.
So fucking tired this week.
That about wraps up this episode. I want to thank Mike for taking time out to join us. I want to thank all
I
the listeners.
legit thought you were thanking yourself. I was like, what a fucking asshole.
Thank me for putting this show together.
I would like to thank Mike I'd like to thank Stuart for showing up today, even though he was very tired.
Well, thank you, Stu, for showing up.
And doing everything he could to get Stefan in this episode.
We tried. We tried to hack. It didn't work.
Tried to hack the system. Sadly, I was out. I was not in. No.
And I realized hacking doesn't involve a lot of click, 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 click. In the movies, you hear this.
No.
It was none of that. It was just do this. Okay, do that. Didn't work.
Yeah. If anyone's wondering what hacking's like in real life, it's a lot of waiting for 5 minutes and going, okay, all right, try put that number in, see if that works. No? Okay. Hold on, let me look it up. Hacking is a lot of, much like, as I found out, essentially much like medical care by doctors, hacking is a lot of Googling and hoping.
All right. I want to give an awesome shout out to our awesome intro, courtesy of Bulby, aka Mike Stoney, ZP Bike Bullet, Sonic School Kid Squad. So definitely check him out on YouTube. Also, as Mike, why don't you tell where people can hear you talk about every month?
Hey, check out our MCU series. We're about to record Winter Soldier, but
we're about to release Thor.
About to release Thor. It's a good episode.
If I was on that episode, I would spend an hour and a half talking about that opening with Nick Fury escaping from the Winter Soldier, and I would not give a shit about the rest of that movie.
I was really hoping you were going to say Thor's face, and I was like, say it. Well, you did not.
Listen to the Thor episode. You can hear our thoughts on Chris Hemsworth's face in the movie.
He does have a pretty face.
I'm releasing it next week, so people will be hearing it soon.
There you go.
What a fucking tragic ending for his character in game to be made essentially an hour and a half fat joke.
Oh yeah.
Or sorry, 2.5 hour fat joke. After Ragnarok, it's honestly so disappointing.
Endgame's a good. I can't. We're getting there eventually.
Yep.
Pretty fast, faster than what people hear.
Faster
so definitely check those
Flash?
out.
Oh, that's something for this wrong series.
We also do. That's DC. We also
Who's
do
the fastest
episodes.
person in the MCU?
Flash.
Quicksilver.
Oh yeah, fast.
Oh, MCU. What the hell? God, I need to go home. I am home. I need to stop recording.
Faster than Quicksilver. Although I guess technically Professor X can stop time. I don't know. It's weird.
It's
Thank
Quicksilver.
you. Quicksilver.
I took a second,
Quicksilver.
but I got that joke.
If only Quicksilver could live in any of his fucking movies.
Yeah, he can't. Well, there's a reason why, and I will talk about it when we get to Age of Ultron. Why he doesn't make it out of Age of Ultron.
Is he just
It's a legal reason, not.
Oh, it's
it has to do with the rights.
Oh, that makes sense.
It had nothing to do with the movie. It had to do with the rights.
Oh, that's a shame.
So tune into that in like 6 months when I finally release that episode.
Listen to this episode again in 6 months to remind yourself about that episode.
So also, we actually just released. We do comic episodes twice. We're doing comic episodes twice a month. You have another comic episode coming out later this month to look forward to, and we did just release one about Superman for the man who has everything. So check that out. And if you haven't heard our Parasite Eve episode, which you need to listen to it, it's episode 23. Go check that out and get ready for next week if you haven't heard it yet, because we're gonna be all talking about Parasite Eve 2 for 2 to 3 hours, because there's a lot to say about that game.
Yeah,
on one of those upcoming comic episodes too. If for some reason you like the sound of my voice,
bro, that would be a while, bro. Come on, bro. That would be a while, bro.
I was not ready for Mike to come out of the gates with bro.
Yeah, the Hawkeye. We did a Hawkeye issue that I will not be. I haven't. It's coming out later.
I processed that episode too, and even in that episode, it was odd to me to hear you say bro.
It's
not me. It's a joke.
So listen to this episode again to remind you to listen to that episode too.
Man, we sound like idiots right now. All right, we will see everybody next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Texting at the end because I've got an important text I got to answer.